Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And what a lovely day it is today. I'm a little bit late in this morning because I've been chatting to Kefalonia. Just got to say a quick hello to Jean. We've been talking to each other about how things are over there at the moment. I'll be talking about Kefalonia in just a little while when we start to look at the news. At the moment, I am looking into absolutely bright blazing sun. I can't even see what you're seeing at the moment because of this brightness. So I thought let's start with the view of the weather from around the back of the. Oh, I've just realised it's not turned round. Let me turn it round now. Are you going to turn round? Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Rachel. There we go. I thought I was showing you a lovely shot there at the front of the house, and I wasn't. Anyway, there you go. That's the day today. Absolutely fantastic. It's lovely and warm. It's hot. It's sunny. Spring is definitely in the air at the moment. In fact, we've had a spring since about late February, I suppose. Well, we're in February now, aren't we? But again, we've seemed to have had a spring really early this year. But it's looking absolutely fantastic. Lovely blue skies looking towards Sillavi location. Lovely bright clear blue skies. Not a cloud to be seen anywhere. Looking absolutely fantastic. And again, let's look up towards the hills. I'm not sure if we're going to get Amanda Gregory today with the weather forecast because she was up early this morning at 4 o'clock looking after her her little dogs that she's looking after at the moment. But anyway, that's the view from the back of the house, looking towards Kerry and also Amber Lockerbie. And again, it's looking absolutely lovely there. Good morning to Cyprus as well. Ambassador for Wigan over there, Mr. Winstanley. Nice to have you checking in on us there, Your Excellency. That's the phrasing, Excellency. There you go. Also, Chris Baxter. Are you still in the UK, Chris? If you've managed to get back or not, or whether you're still trying to get back at the moment. Anyway, Julie Halloran says it's high winds and a lot of wet weather here in Manchester. So anyway, you're probably jealous at the moment looking at what's going on here. Right, so what's been going on in the last 24 hours? Well, in fact, there's been quite a bit going on in the last 24 hours. I've got to be honest, this balcony needs a bit of a clean. The chickens are kind of behaving themselves at the moment. I've just realised I'd better get myself a chair set round, ready to you the news of today. Let me just put the screen up on my laptop, which now I put at half mast because the chickens like to sit on it actually. So anyway, let's switch myself around and have a look at me. And also, once again, thank you to all those people joining me. And Debbie Wood said, morning, looks lovely. Thank you, it is. And Amanda has sent her weather forecast, and I shall give that to you at the broadcast. Right, okay, let's have a look at what's going on then. Right, believe it or not, it's the 24th of February 2021. It is now day 110 of the lockdown. All right, COVID in the last 24 hours. Let's have a quick look at the figures. I've got to be honest, there's some very interesting stats coming up for Zakynthos, and I will come to those when I get there. But at the moment, across Greece, we've had one heck of a bit of a spike, shall we say. Yesterday, you may remember, I said that we'd had 880 new cases of the virus recorded. Anyway, to yesterday, that 880 has gone to 2,147 new infections recorded across Greece. So that's a bit of a spike. Anyway, that now brings a grand total since the pandemic started to 182,783, of which 51% are male. And there was 16 new cases identified after checks into the country, and that is also up from 11. Anyway, now, this is one of the reasons I'm a bit late coming on air this morning, because I've been looking at the other islands across the Ionian. Lefkada yesterday had 4 new cases. They're actually in yellow, the same as us here in Greece. In Zakynthos. Now, Kefalonia, I hadn't actually realised was actually in red. They went into red last week, and that had somehow escaped me. Anyway, I had a lovely chat with a lovely contact over there called Jean Baker, and we had a little chat about what's happening over there. Now, yesterday, they had reported 2 cases on Kefalonia. At the moment, the island is in red. Looking at their local press, they have said that in the last few days, they've had 27 detected cases, of which 6 are being treated in their ICU. Now, their ICU at the moment has 11 beds in it, and 11 of those beds is actually occupied, and they have also had 1 death a couple of days ago. So Kefalonia are in the red, whereas you might remember last year, Kefalonia didn't really get affected much by what happened. They were in the green for the whole of the summer season. They had a normal season, whereas Zakynthos, we were in the red and in the orange and in restrictions and everything else. So it's interesting at the moment that Kefalonia now is seeing a spike there at the moment. And also as well, the layout of the island, it's a lot larger than Zakynthos, and we were talking about that. And most of the infection seems to be around the Sami area, which is on the northern part of the island there. So again, we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Now, Corfu is in the yellow, the same as us, Zakynthos, and they had 11 new cases reported nationally. And as for Zakynthos, nationally, we had 7 new cases reported. Now, at the moment, those numbers are a little bit higgledy-piggledy at the moment, but I'm going to give you what I've learned actually within the last 24 hours, because up until this morning, I had felt that we had 5 cases here and 1 positive cases, but things change. Anyway, confirmed cases of coronavirus were diagnosed on Tuesday morning in Zakynthos, a 46-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman. They had gone to the hospital suffering from the mild effects of the virus, had been tested positive. The 31-year-old had developed the fever, they reckon, on the Sunday night. And he also worked in an office in town, which they then decided to get tested. In fact, when they were tested in a private doctor's office, not at the hospital where they were found to be positive. Obviously, after testing positive, they then obviously went to the hospital for further treatment. And both of those people had mild symptoms and their contacts had been traced. Now, that was early in the day. Later in the day, a 46-year-old and a 31-year-old, the 46-year-old and the 31-year-old, they obviously went into quarantine for 14 days. Now, later on Tuesday, a 60-year-old man and his 32-year-old wife, they were diagnosed with coronavirus after a test by the Zakynthos General Hospital, and after a molecular test, they had been suffering symptoms. They were quarantined at home, and obviously tracing of their contacts was started. Now, late last night, there were rapid tests performed on all the staff of the Iasys Cosmetic and Eternal Beauty. Now, they had the 2 cases, which I think were the 2 cases that were diagnosed by the private doctor. Anyway, after those 2 cases, it turned out that 2 more people were tested as positive. They were then sent to the hospital. However, once they got to the hospital and they'd been retested, one of those turned out to be a false negative. All right. So then Iasys last night issued a statement saying that, yes, 2 of their staff had been tested and obviously had gone into isolation. They'd done their own test again. And obviously another person was found positive and a second person was found positive, but that was a false positive. But anyway, Iasys have said now that they're shutting their store at the moment, and they're not going to be reopening until Sunday the 7th of March while they decontaminate their location. Anyway, so during yesterday, it was 8 cases of coronavirus were recorded, and a large number of data. This is a large number of a number for the island, especially with the size that we are. Now, I've got to be honest. Hermes News, who reported most of this news, they did a little tidy up of it this morning. And this morning they said, by their reckoning, we have 4 positives concerning the 60-year-old, the 45-year-old, the 33-year-old and the 24-year-old. At noon, we had a 37-year-old who tested positive, as well as a 7-year-old daughter as well, which obviously wasn't reported earlier in the day. And in the evening, they had 2 further cases involving the couple, and I think those might have been the eye assist. So at the moment, even for us here on the ground, the numbers are a bit confusing at the moment. But anyway, according to my reckoning at the moment, Zakynthos has had 92 positive cases since the beginning of the year, and 55 of those have been for the month of February. And we shall be keeping our eye on our figures and stats at the moment, because the last thing we want is to end up going back into the red again, especially as we're getting closer towards the summer. All right. Anyway, as for deaths across the country, there were 22 new deaths. That is down slightly from the last time I reported to you, where we had 24. That brings the total deaths now to 6,343. The average age of those people passing away was 79 years of age, and 96% of those had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And once again, just to put it into context, the death rate in Greece across the country daily was about 329, and that was in 2019, ever before coronavirus raised its head. Again, for some reason, still no information on the gender of fatalities. That's not been reported. So again, that's God knows how many days since that's happened. Anyway, as for deaths here on Zakynthos, so far this year, we've only had 1 from coronavirus, and that was about approximately 2 or 3 weeks ago, by my reckoning at the moment. Anyway, as for critical cases, now these are up across the country at the moment. I did report to you last time we had 346 cases in ICUs across Greece, and at the moment it is 357 cases in ICUs. 243 of those are male, 114 are female. The average age of those people in critical condition is 68 years of age, and 86.5% of those actually have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. Anyway, as said last night in regards beds, the situation in Attica hospitals at the moment is becoming critical. The Greek Ministry of Health has moved to open 38 new IC beds for COVID-19 patients by the end of the week. Just to remind you, Zakynthos here is trying to get a further between 7 to 8 new beds to go into the COVID clinic here on Zakynthos. They're kind of ready if they feel that we might get hit harder at some point. So again, we'll keep you up to date on that. Right, the rest of the news, believe it or not, is mainly all travel news, which I know everybody is excited about. I've already seen somebody commenting that they've already had their holiday cancelled for here. Anyway, this is the news in regards to travel. UK travel companies and airlines have experienced a surge in bookings, it says, since yesterday, since UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced the government's roadmap out of lockdown. Anyway, however, the lifting of the ban on international travel for UK residents is unlikely to happen before May the 17th at the earliest, all right? The UK government confirmed that a report will be published on April the 12th on how and when restrictions on international travel will be lifted. So once again, bear that in mind if you're booking a holiday through a UK connection, that there's no 100% decision being made that you will be able to travel after the 17th of the 17th of May, because they're still in discussion on April the 12th. So maybe it could be June or whatever. But just remember one thing: if you are booking holidays, please, please, please do not use a credit card do not use a debit card, use a credit card, because then your money is safe. All right, you use a debit card, you're probably not going to get your money back if there's lots of issues. Don't take holiday vouchers. Move your holiday if you have to, and please be careful who you're booking with. Make sure you book with somebody who's got Attica travel cover, because there are companies out there trading without it. And if there is an issue or a problem, you're not going to be covered to try and get back. So just remember those little tips when you're booking your delayed holiday at the moment. Now, interestingly, yesterday, reported here in Zakynthos, the German charter airline Condor, now they're set to launch its 2021 program on May the 3rd. So the Germans are coming early. Yeah, with direct flights from German airports, 7 German airports: Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, Munich, Hamburg, Stuttgart, Leipzig and Berlin. Everybody shout about pop music. I can hear somebody thinking that in their head. Anyway, they're also flying to Greece as well, flying to Attica Airport in Cyprus. So the Germans are coming, and also Zakynthos is on that list of destinations into Greece from Condor. So we're expecting to see German tourists here coming over to the island, and they're expected to start on the 3rd of May. So we're going to have some Germans here getting all the sunbeds early. Should I say that or should I not? Also as well, internationally, international holiday bookings surged by as much as 600% after Britain laid out plans to gradually relax the coronavirus restrictions, giving battered airlines and tour operators the hope that a bumper summer could come to the rescue. Now, EasyJet said flight bookings from Britain jumped over 300%. And holiday bookings surged by more than 600% week on week after the government indicated on Monday that travel could restart from mid-May, while holiday company TUI UK said its holiday bookings surged by 500%. This summer, it's obviously make or break for a lot of airlines and holiday companies who've been struggling to survive with close to a year of almost no revenue due to the pandemic restrictions. And without it, many will need extra funding after burning through their cash reserves. One thing that I didn't mention yesterday when I had my little rant about Boris is the person who is, believe it or not, behind the airlines and actually going to the airlines and for somehow negotiating with the airlines is Tony Blair. Yeah, Mr. Tony Blair. He cannot leave it alone. He's been doing the job that the government should be doing. I feel in some ways, Tony Blair, you're a prime minister in hiding, not in waiting, but in hiding, because he's been very proactive going to the airlines, especially British Airways, and trying to talk the airlines into doing more. Now, to be honest, I'm not a great fan of Tony Blair, not by the slightest, but I think Boris should be looking at this and thinking, why the hell is a former Labour Prime Minister getting involved in negotiations that I should be getting involved in rather than Tony Blair? I have a feeling Tony Blair, this is me surmising now, I think Tony Blair is going to form another party, and I think he's going to have another shot at becoming Prime Minister again. This is me thinking this. The reason is there's enough disaffected Tories and there's a lot of disaffected Labours who kind of blur between the two. Remember New Labour, how that blurred between the Tory party and the Labour itself. So I got a feeling Tony Blair's going to make a comeback. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of his, but he seems to be the one at the moment who is driving negotiations between the airlines and getting the airlines back working. And obviously, he is in the back doing his thing at the moment. So just keep an eye on that, because I certainly will be, and we'll see if anything comes of that. Because again, at the end of the day, did you vote Tony Blair back in? He sounds to me, again, like he's a Prime Minister in waiting at the moment, lurking in the shadows. Anyway, Greek Tourism Minister Haris Theakis reiterated Greece's plea to introduce vaccine certificates. Again, that's on the cards. That will allow mass travel to resume. And he published an interview in the Financial Times yesterday as well, just to back his story. He told the paper some countries are very much preoccupied with it now as northern European nations appear unwilling to look ahead. We need to move more quickly, he's saying. And he says Greece's economy is heavily reliant on international tourism, and last year's opening was not enough to mitigate the hit suffered by the industry due to the coronavirus. This issue will be discussed at EU summit that begins on Thursday. So tomorrow there's going to be EU summit on this. What annoys me about this is that in some ways they actually allowed last year for people to come with less restriction. And as the season went on, we had restrictions placed on us which weren't placed on other locations, and you kind of reap what you sow. And now, please, this COVID vaccine certificate, I don't want to have it, and I really don't feel that people should be forced to have it. If people want it, they can have it. Herd immunity is enough people have the injection. It could lay it off for people to be able to move. I hate this fact of that you have to conform and have it so to get anywhere. But anyway, we're going to wait and see how this all plays out again with the vaccination regime here as well. Again, in fact, I'm going to save something because I need to do a little bit more research on it about vaccinations going on here in Zakynthos at the moment. And I will bring you that as soon as I get more on it. Anyway, something else not related to holidays, vaccinations or anything else, but drugs. Yeah. Another serious drug case has preoccupied the Zakynthos police yesterday. And this time the authorities arrested 3 people with 306 grams of cocaine. Anyway, the drug, it seems, was well hidden in a steep area of Agalas. And according to information, police had been monitoring the area for several days where the stash was hidden in a bag under some stones and some pine needles. And yesterday, in a coordinated operation, 3 people were arrested as they went to the location where the drugs were hidden, obviously to retrieve them. In addition to the cocaine that was found, a set of precision scales, cash amounting to 755 euros was also found, and also there were numerous SIM cards as well located where the stash was. Anyway, these people are to be taken in front of the Zakynthos public prosecutor, and we haven't heard anything more from them as yet. Jane and I yesterday, we went to collect our residency permit at the time we were told to go, which was at 1:30 yesterday afternoon. We got there and Mr. Spiro had gone. So we didn't get our residency permit yesterday. We have to go back on Friday. So I wonder if he was out on a bus yesterday. Even though people had earlier written about what a great service they'd had earlier in the morning, going to see him, getting their paperwork sorted. When us that turned up to get our passes, our actual residency cards, he'd gone. So obviously he could have been on that bus maybe. Anyway, and finally, some other good news then. Greece has reduced by 38.5% its outstanding cases of coming in line with the European Court of Human Rights, that they're slowly now getting a better human rights record in Europe. Yes, George Kyriakakis said in Parliament on Monday, he noted that the ministry is fully aware and is working towards the timely compliance of the country to the court decisions. Kouteris said that the official data shows that on January the 1st, 2021, the number of non-compliance decisions against Greece totaled 120 against the 195 on the same date the year in 2020, 238 in 2019, 305 in 2018. So human rights are getting a bit more taken seriously. Anyway, the Legal Council of States provides a report on the progress presented to Europe, he noted. And in comments earlier, Syriza MP Giorgio Katagoulis had pointed out that Greece is among the countries that delayed applying the decision of the European Court of Human Rights, and in some cases we are among those countries that did not apply them at all, as the common European law requires, at a level of political freedoms and individual rights set out by the Strasbourg Court. We are among the 5 worst countries, he says. This is his words, not mine, unfortunately, in this regard. Anyway, this now contravenes the quality of the state of law in Greece and must obviously be readdressed, he stressed, and it occurs significant costs to Greece, from tens of millions in fines for annually for non-compliance. So there you go. A nice little bit of good news at the end. Right, okay, let's have a look at some of the messages coming through as well. I've seen people already saying that they're having holidays cancelled that they had booked. I know people who've booked holidays and had them cancelled as well. Rachel, we said hello to. Emma in Essex, I say hello to you as well. Tom Mitchell is watching. Andrew the Fridge Watkins there in Wales is tuning in. Debbie Wood says, morning, looks lovely. It really is nice. The ambassador of Wigan over in Cyprus is looking in as well. Amanda is watching. I know your weather forecast is further down. Wiggy says morning. Chris Baxter asked if he's having trouble getting back. I do know he's given me a reply. Julia Haran says lots of high winds and lots of wet weather hitting Manchester at the moment. Yeah. John Stoll is watching. Bob Cave down there in the Oxfordshire area. He says, good morning, Ginge. Weather very spring-like here in Oxford. Oh, I'm pleased to hear that. Normally you're saying it's very cold there, fella. Anyway, Amanda's weather forecast is morning, Ginge. Clear skies, lots of sunshine, highs of 18 degrees, will feel like 22 degrees. Enjoy. The 2 pups are well and good so far. Yeah, I know you were up at 4 o'clock this morning when I saw your posting about the pups. And I've got to be honest, it was really funny. Jane and I were just driving back from town yesterday without our residency permits. And we were saying about how hot it felt and how warm it felt. And Jane was looking at the car thermometer and it said something like 15 degrees or 16 degrees Celsius. And I said, well, there you go. It feels a lot hotter than that. So is this where they get the feels like factor from? I've always been wondering that for years with the weather. Susie Angus is watching as well. Lovely to have you tuning in as well, my lovely. And for some reason, it's got stuck. Chris Baxter says he's still in the process of sorting out how he's going to get back from the UK. Anyway, listen in, mate. Let me know as soon as you do get back as well. Be great to catch up with you. And once again, it must have been horrendous getting there, and obviously with what's been going on, and obviously coming back as well, it just adds to the sort of grief, shall we say, as well. So again, lots of thoughts. There's lots of people here really looking forward to your return as well, big fella. Angela Love is watching as well. Carol Walker said, Jet2 cancelled my holiday in May and I'm feeling sad. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. I don't know when you booked. Maybe you booked maybe the first week of May, but it's just remember this, guys. The 17th of May is the date when you may be able to move. All right, it's all going to depend on April, what Witless and the other idiot decide upon. And as I said yesterday, Boris, grow a pair of balls. Tony's after your job. He's sniffing in the background. And don't be too surprised. We're going to have some new party being rolled out by him at some point. It wouldn't be surprised while he's looking to ingratiate himself with the airline industry in the airports. He might be pitching for a new... He's got enough money he's made out of his last 2 cock-ups. Remember, he's the man who sent us to war on sexed up info. He was the man who was sent to sort out the Middle East. He was the man who wanted to run the EU at one point, but didn't get the job and felt very peeved by not getting the job. So again, watch out. There's a Blair about, all right? Anyway, Heather Flynn is watching as well. Nice to see you. Tim Crystal is tuning in. Johnny Hayes is watching as well. Oh, lovely to see you, Johnny Hayes. Do you know what? Every time I see the record, one step beyond in the video, there's a person who looks like you in that video, and it could be your cloned brother. Anyway, lovely to have you tuning in, Johnny Hayes, ex-Rafreg buddy. Margaret Miller's also tuning in. Les Hardman's tuning in as well. Stephen Hodgson is tuning in. Jeannie McFlee is tuning in. Steve Hodgson, fireman up the north. He says, hi, Ginge. See you in May, June, July, hopefully August. Happy days. And it says Seymour. Oh, hang on a tick. Seymour, he said, it keeps jumping to another setting. Anyway, happy days, mate, he says. I look forward to that. Jan Lawrence is watching. Yanni Tasso is watching as well. Nice to see you, Yanni. Lyndon Eriksson is watching. John Clifford, he says, good morning from a scunny Sludubia. Good for you. He's been drinking the ouzo again. Dave Coldwell is watching from the USA. Nice to see you, Dave. Keep pushing the wrong button there and it keeps jumping back. Brett Weston is watching as well. Dave Lowry is watching. Nice to see you. Christine Wildred is watching. Alf Ting, Mick Taggart, Steve Scott. Chick Ballantyne says morning, Gin. Steve Scott says morning. Teresa Stokes is watching. Hello, Teresa. Nice to see you tuning in. And Susie Anger says morning. Thanks for all the info. Interesting to hear what's happening in our favourite place. Well, as all I do... Sorry about that. I've got screens open all over. I'm pushing the wrong buttons with my fat fingers. I do apologise, and it looks like all me people that were tuning in have suddenly all disappeared away. Well, that's it. I'm going to bang it on the head here. I've gone on long enough. Once again, I'll keep my ear to the ground. Don't forget this afternoon, I've got my live broadcast from here in Zakynthos, requests and inspirations. Thank you to all those people who have basically sent me over requests. I've got some banging tunes coming out this afternoon. I've got some very exclusive tunes as well. Randall Butler and also the lovely Mark Anthony Teddin. They put a little track together from Wicked. I'm going to be playing that. I'm also going to be playing another song from another entertainer we've had over here in the past, Leonie Voss. And in fact, I put her into my dance anthem show on Friday, but I'm also going to play a track of hers that she did a while ago and put that out as well for people to have a little memory jog to as well. So once again, if you want a request, you want a record, just stick it down below in the comments. I will be back on air 3 o'clock UK time, which is 5 o'clock Greek time. 2 hours of your music, my inspirations. And once again, you can watch me on Mixcloud, on Twitch as well as on Facebook for as long as they'll allow the broadcast to go up, because then for copyright, they will take it down at some point. But anyway, you can tune in and watch the video, see the music as it were, and enjoy the show. And again, there will be an audio version go up to Mixcloud straight after the broadcast. So anyway, thank you to all those people tuning in. I'm going to have to go now. Got jobs to do, things to sort out. And once again, I'll keep my ear to the ground. I hear of anything going on. I did see somebody make a comment about Tony Blair's got no chance. I hope Tony Blair's got no chance. There's enough sycophants out there who thought he was marvellous. He was. But then again, we said this about Brexit, didn't we? Oh, they won't vote to go. They won't vote to leave. However, the British public did. But I won't go there because that's going to kick up a load of fuss with certain people. But anyway, we shall wait and see. Oh, and Paulie Paul, nice to see you. Karen Bush, lovely to see you as well, my lovely. Cy Greenley, Raff Reg, they're all tuning in. Pam Stott as well, tuning in. Lyndon as well in Wales, nice to see you. Brett Weston, Donna Beard as well. Denise Tyndall, Susie Angus is still watching. Thank you. I'll catch you later. And I've now got to edit these two halves together to put up onto YouTube. And please, like and subscribe on YouTube. So if you can't watch me live during the day, at least you can catch it there. And again, I can cross-reference stuff you may have as well. Anyway, I've got to go, and I'll speak to you later. Ta-ra!